And the last news that we have here for the Kansas City Chiefs, also from James Palmer, he was the first one to put this information out. I thought it was really interesting. Our rookie corner, Jalen Watson, has been playing a majority of the season with a broken hand. The hand that he intercepted with last week to close the game out against the Jaguars, that is the hand that he broke.
That's great news to see,
And
man.
he's been playing with that, or that just
He's
happened
been
in the
playing.
Jaguars game?
No, he's been playing with it for multiple weeks. I believe around week 7 was when they stated he had broke his hand, which is when we also saw the dip in snap count for Jalen. So
Mhm.
expect now that he's on a mend, especially seeing what he was able to do last week. He will be getting many more snaps, but it was also probably a blessing in disguise that it was broken and his snap share had to go down, because that also left for Williams to be able to come in, excuse me, be able to come in and put in some work, trial by fire, and get ready for the playoffs. But that also is a testament to how hardworking of a player he is as well. Um, Not only drafted, later like he was drafted, but to be able to play with that broken hand, to be able to make what probably was the biggest play of the game, pull out a win, and send the team to the
Hey,
championship
I
weekend.
played on a broken toe for a couple seasons of high school football, so that's what I.
This guy.
For a couple of seasons?
I mean, I didn't know it happened. I went to my trainer and she felt like a popping in my foot. I actually went to see her during wrestling season because it hurt to get out of my down stance, and she said it had been broken for a while. Like I just kind of got used to the pain because
Real
you
football
can't
guy
do
there.
anything for a broken. Yeah, real football guy in the trenches with a broken toe.
Listen, we've got
No, that's pretty impressive. Good kudos, Jalen Watson.
hell of a game coming up. It's a night game on Sunday, 5 o'clock, 5:30 kickoff. 0-3 against the Bengals. Initial thoughts. How are we feeling against this Bengals team that we have yet to beat? And they're coming in saying it's Burrowhead, so they're at a home away from home. And what are our initial feelings for this game?
You know, I think the stuff that they're putting out in the media, like it's great bulletin board material. It's super disrespectful. I think the Bengals are coming in a little cocky. Now, they may just have our number, but I'm leaning towards, the Murphy's law of averages, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's going to be hard to beat us 4 straight times. It's going to be real hard to beat us 4 straight times. And there's a lot of people out there saying that their offensive line, while they continue to win games, their offensive line is being highly suspect. And our defensive line is playing the best they've played this season. We've continued to get better throughout the season. We're second in the league in pressures, and I think we're number one or one of the top teams in actually hitting the quarterback. I think we were fourth in sacks, but we create pressure, and Joe Burrow is only going to be able to take so much of that. Game in, game out, being on the run, getting taken to the ground, getting hit, not even necessarily just getting sacked. I think it's going to catch up to him, and the offensive firepower is there. Like we know we can compete. We just can't have a a lull in the second half like we did last year. If the game plan continued to work out the way it was looking in the first half, like the Bengals weren't going to touch us. We got in our own way a little bit, and I think the Bengals are now in that situation because they're so cocky playing us. The Bengals are going to kind of get in their own way. So I think it's kind of be a recipe for positive outcome for us. But there's the AFC West is known. The Raiders are going to Raider, the Chargers are going to Charger, the Broncos are going to be stupid, and the Chiefs are going to Chief. So that's just the history. So there's always that little bit of a feeling, uneasiness on edge. waiting for the Chiefs to kind of make a mistake. But I'm pretty confident that this team has put most of that stuff behind us.
Yeah, one big thing about this though is the Bengals love to come in saying that they're the underdog. They've been saying it for the past 2 years now, no matter where they go. They're the favorites right now.
Joe Burrow didn't like that. I thought he had an interview a while back. He was like, "I'm tired of being an underdog. Like we compete. We're a real team out here." You remember that?
I remember that, but they're still touted as the underdog in most games they play. Another big thing about this. Do you guys remember who all we had out during that game? Joe Tooney didn't play in the first game.
Yes.
Yeah.
First game back for Trent McDuffie. Jalen Watson dealing with his hand. Like, there were a lot of factors that we did not have in that first game that were ready to go. Kelsey was sick during that game. Plenty of stuff. I am excited. I'm ready for this. Going to be the best game of the weekend by far.
But you'll be even more excited to hear this news. Going through the injury report this week, through Wednesday and Thursday, everybody who has not been designated to the injury reserve, so that would be Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jody Fortson, everybody is healthy. Do you know who that includes?
Mecole Hardman. Hardman.
Carey. Carey Hardman. He has been a light participant as of Wednesday and Thursday. He'll probably be a light participant on Friday and ready to go for the game on Sunday. Everybody else has been a full practice. That includes Willie Gay, Jerick McKinnon, and the one and only PM2, number 15, Patrick Mahomes II. Beautiful.
Great news.
So
healthy.
We need to be aware as Chiefs fans. Mahomes looks like he's running fine. He says he's fine. He's not, he's listed as a full participant on the injury list. But even if it feels great, that ankle sprain is going to be very easy to re-injure.
Yes.
That those ligaments, whatever is affected in the strain, is not healed 100% just in a week. Like, that is the reality of it. I'm so happy that he's not hobbling around. He's not wearing a boot or anything like that. But just know, offensive line better be working their ass off out there to keep those Bengals away from him, because it's going to be very easy for him to re-injure that.
This is the game.
Line is very good.
This is the game to see if we're actually going to pay Orlando Brown Jr. or not.
I think we already know.
This is for the big money. This is for the big money, though. If you can do it now, whenever it really matters, you may earn a few extra mil there.
I'd go a long way in negotiations.
Yes, yeah, I would agree. Yeah. As far as the Bengals are concerned, there are a few concerning options for them. Their starting offensive tackle, I believe it's their left tackle, Jonah Williams, and starting guard Alex Copa have both been non-participants as of Wednesday and Thursday. All reports sound like it is not good for them and most likely will be out for the game. You've also got defensive tackle DJ Reader. He's fine. He was just listed as rest. There was also Sam Hubbard, the defensive end, who is listed as rest, but is fine in practicing. Pretty much everybody else on this list is either a light or full participation. That's how it's going to go. No other big concerns. Maybe Trey Flowers and Hayden Hurst, who is designated as a light practice. There are some concerning reports about Hayden Hurst. But for the most part, the only thing they really have to worry about is that offensive line, and they had to worry about that before the injuries anyways. I did want to take a look back at some of the things that we have done in the past, or maybe have not done. When we take a look, I don't want to go back too far, only during Joe Burrow's tenure there playing against Kansas City. So going back to our first game, which was in January of 22, right before the playoffs, we had obviously lost, and it wasn't a good game by us. They didn't have a run game, which was pretty nice. We were able to hold them there solidly. But Jamar Chase did have an 11 catch game for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. Joe Mixon did have
that game did like follow the same kind of script as the one that came after it.
Yes.
We were up in the first half and kind of shattered away at the end. There was some really questionable decision making at the very end. I believe this was Spags choosing to go zero coverage on a 3rd and 27 or something like that. He tried to explain he was trying to keep him out of field goal range, but it was Charvarius Ward one-on-one versus Jamar Chase down the sideline. Like, just an absolutely god-awful call for your defense on 3rd and 27. But, it's the script of Chiefs Bengals has kind of been we get up and then we lose it in the second half.
There weren't any turnovers. We at least that we created. No interceptions, no fumbles, but we were able to create pressure in that game. We did get Joe Burrow on the ground a total of 4 times. When you look at the next game that was in the AFC Championship, just a few weeks later, we did still didn't have. We did get 1 interception. Or excuse me, yeah, we did get 1 interception. It was L'Jarius Sneed's. We ended up with a total of 1 sack that game that came from Melvin Ingram. There was no pressure created with how bad their offensive line was. But we were able to hold Jamar Chase. Now, that did allow T. Higgins to go off for 6 receptions and 103 yards. So there is a theme going on that we allow one, but not everyone else to get to have themselves a game. And then when you look at the most recent game that was played and lost, all of them 3-point losses. Still no interceptions, turnovers. The sack total came down to 1 from George Karlaftis, so no pressure really created. And when you look at the receivers and what they were able to do, Jamar Chase 7 receptions, 97 yards. Everybody else had quite a few catches, but low totals. So when you look at it, they play the Chiefs. We're letting a lot of short yardage plays happen for longer extended drives. Samaje Perine was able to have a hell of a game against us earlier on this season. That was the first time that they had really rushed well against us. We can't win the turnover battle, and only 1 game out of 3 so far we have been able to create pressure. Do you guys see that being a change with or without their offensive linemen that are currently listed as non-participants? Do you see that changing this week? Given our struggles and their struggles against other teams, but we're just not able to get Joe Burrow down.
I mean, it almost seems like they're our kryptonite. Joe Burrow is our defensive line's kryptonite, but whether or not it does happen is going to be the point that this game really hinges upon. If we get Joe Burrow sacked 4 times, we will win this game. I understand it didn't happen in that first meeting, but I spoke to what really lost us that game just a second ago. If we get Joe Burrow sacked 4 times, at least we're going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's going to be the biggest game for our defensive line this year. They're going to have a tremendous day. Chris Jones is going to get his playoff sack. Frank Clark is going to eat. And Karlaftis may get in there a little bit too.
It's interesting. I'm worried about the defense. I am really worried. Now, created pressure eliminates all issues that we have in being able to defend against the pass. You create pressure. You don't really have to worry about Jamar Chase 30 yards, 40 yards down the field because Joe Burrow doesn't have enough time to throw the ball. Now, part of that is going to be contained. Is Frank Clark going to have himself a hell of a day, or is Spags going to have him playing contain like he has been the rest of the year to make sure that Joe Burrow stays inside the pocket and we bring a blitz, those off blitzes that we've been doing all year? This is going to be a really big test, and I would love to say that our defensive line is going to have a really good day. I just want to hold my water on that because it's really going to come down to what Spags is calling out on the field. And it's going to have to be a lot of blitzes. That's not what everybody wants to hear. the way that Joe Burrow is able to move in this pocket, manipulate the passes in a lot of sense is very much him and Patrick Mahomes are almost on the same level. He's able to move and climb and be able to throw on the run very accurately at different arm angles. And he has the receiving core that is able to get him out of those tough situations. It's just, even with the bad offensive line, he's shown that he's been able to overcome that. It's really going to come down to linebacker play and can we defend the deep ball? I think those are the two things that it comes down to.
I do want to touch on the linebacker play because that's been really pointed to on Twitter. You know, last week the Bills didn't do very well filling the gaps against the run, and the Bengals ran all over the place. That's what our linebackers are a little bit worse at nowadays. Like we love Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, but film as of the latter part of the season, like the tackling and filling run gaps hasn't been like the greatest. And I don't necessarily expect that play to improve that much this week and be a more deciding factor on the defense. I really think they're going to run decently well against us. I think it's the big play moments where our defensive line is going to have to come after Joe Burrow. That's what this game, defending the deep pass per se, but that's really what this game is going to come down to. And if we get a sack or two in those big moments, that's it's really going to turn the game in our favor. I would love to. I'd lean towards what Sean's saying, like the defensive line is going to have a huge day. They haven't proven it against the Bengals just yet, so I'm hesitant to say that. But that's what I think is going to win this game for us. And really, we've just been we've been grasping literally on his jersey, like almost have him wrapped up. We've been grasping at straws, like he's just been able to escape even our best player, Chris Jones. So I think, if that changes, that's definitely going to win us this game.
I think our new acquisition for this year as a veteran defensive end is going to be the guy who makes the plays, who is the difference maker when it comes to our defensive line.
This is a revenge game for him too.
Yes, it is.
Are you talking about Mr. Dunlap?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Dunlap. It'll be I think it'll be a sweet revenge game for him. It'll be pretty cool. The last thing on defense that I wanted to touch on, over the last couple of weeks, we have seen a change in the base defense that Spags has been running. We have seen Leo Chenal on the field much more often than he had been at previous points in the season, running that base defense, which I think has been a portion of the problem to our pass defense that's been going around. Do you think that we continue to see Leo Chenal and the base defense being run in that 4-3, or do we go back and revert to what Spags is known best for in that nickel defense, putting Brian Cook out there most likely to be that guy?
It all depends on how the first half goes. If it's working, we're going to stick with the base defense. But if not, I bet he switches it up at half. I know he doesn't like making big adjustments like that, but you got to do something.
I think the Bengals run game is scary enough from last week, and also the fact that Samaje Perine went off against us the first time around. I think that's enough to keep us in base. Like, that Leo's a little bit better at filling the run. Now, Brian Cook's had some decent tape on it recently.
Yes.
But I think the bigger defense, the base defense with Leo in there, I think is what they're going to lean towards, just the way the run game looked last week.
Offensively, it's been a tale of two halves every single time that we play. Amazing first half, horrendous second half. And it's not even 3 quarters like we usually try and put up. It's 2 quarters, and then we do nothing. Is that more of I don't know if it's more of Andy Reid just taking his foot off the gas, or Eric Bieniemy, whoever's calling the plays, or is it the adjustments being made by the Bengals? I mean, Eli Apple can't be that good. I've seen him cover. I've watched his film. The guy is not that good.
Their safeties help make up for that a little bit, I think.
Are we afraid of Sam Hubbard and what their defensive line has been able to do against teams like the Ravens and the Bills, given our offensive line issues here and there?
Not necessarily, just because the Ravens had Tyler Huntley at quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He can't move like that. The Bills had Josh Allen. He's been a mess this year. We have Patrick Mahomes, one of the best pocket passers in the league. He can still move. Probably won't move as much this week because of the ankle, but he can still move around, get out of there, and he's going to be getting the ball out of his hands fast. I think we're just afraid to run the ball against them.
I also think we have a better offensive line than the last two teams they played, too.
I wouldn't disagree with that. So do you think we're just going to offensively be able to have a field day? Guys are just going to be going out there. I mean, what are the problems that you see the Kansas City Chiefs offense having?
The propensity to shoot ourselves in the foot. The play calling woes you alluded to with the play calling team on offense. I don't think the Bengals on defense make any big plays to stop us from winning this game. I think our mistakes, a pat errant pass here and there, if he has a 3-pick game, we're not going to win this game. And then they're not gonna be the ones forcing us to like necessarily make mistakes. It's gonna be us shooting us in the foot.
I wouldn't disagree. I mean, they were able to stout up on the Bills, but I think the Bills were really shooting themselves in the foot in the turnover battle, and that's what led to a 27-10 score.
Exactly, and I mean they were getting after Josh Allen pretty good. So I don't think they're going to find the same success against our offensive line. Pat's going to run a little bit here and there, but I don't think he's going to truly be in danger a lot of the time.
He will always have a check down ready to go.
John, we saw last week with Chad Henne coming in. We finally leaned on our running backs. Do we see this offense at any time finally start to pick up this run game, knowing that that's the way that you control a game?
The only way we would is if we get up big, and even then we're not going to do it.
We don't do that.
That's not us, man.
Do that, man. It hurts.
What kind of question is that?
It hurts my heart. I know. I can't get it in my head that this offensive line is a top 5 run blocking offensive line with the 2 running backs that we have back there, and we sit here and we go, you know what? We're still going to pass the ball 60 times. We're not going to control the offensive line. We're not going to keep these guys guessing. We're not going to throw in a play action or the RPOs are really no threat because we're not going to hand the ball off. And it's just, all right, line up and see if you can cover our receivers. And we're not winning that battle most of the time.
I if Chad Henne does come in and the play calling changes like that, I still think we have a chance to win this game. So
that's true.
As long as Chad Henne doesn't throw easy picks, which he almost didn't versus the Jaguars. We don't talk about that as much, but if Henne keeps his throws easy and mistake free, and we still have a chance to use the run game and confuse them and keep them from stacking 8 in the box, we still have a chance to win this game.
In the last 3 games that we've played against the Bengals, out of 2, Travis Kelce has been our leading receiver. In the first game that we played against the Bengals, it was Tyreek. none of our receivers played well in that game. But in the last two, it's been Travis Kelce getting majority of the target share and in the yards.
It's going to happen again this week.
Exactly.
We see them
Kadarius
being
Toney will
able
have
to
6 or 7. Everybody else is going to have 1 or 2.
Darius Toney 6 or 7. Really,
That's what he had last game.
Yeah.
that's true.
It's Andy's got a formula. Okay, like we're not necessarily seeing a crazy amount of new plays or the playbook necessarily being opened up. Andy's got a formula. Okay, and Pat and Travis Kelce have a relationship that goes past that formula a lot of times too. So, I mean, Pat always feels and knows where Travis Kelce's at. So, it's literally just our DNA.
Harry McCole Hardman is healthy. What kind of dynamic does this bring to our beloved Chiefs going into this massive game to send us into our third Super Bowl in 4 years?
So I want to bring us back. Hang on, Sean. I want to bring us back to week 1. Okay. Do we remember our game versus the Arizona Cardinals? Do we remember
Let him cook.
Do we remember the 2 deep balls that Mahomes missed McCole Hardman on? And so he's like, I gotta get him one. McCole's got touchdowns this season, yes, but has he had a deep bomb?
Nope.
No deep balls.
Has he had a deep bomb, fellas?
None.
You're saying now that he is healthy and going to be back, you're calling a deep bomb, Harry McCole Hardman.
The other jet. The other jet.
Hey, yo.
Whichever leg is the healthier leg, Pat's gonna throw a one-legged jump pass. It's
deep bomb.
Does this open up the game or does this close the game? This touchdown from Harry McCole Hardman.
I think it's gonna open
your
up
shot, bro. Ooh,
it's gonna open up
early from McCole Hardman. I love
it's gonna open up the scoring for us or something. If we hit stagnant, if we only have 7 points in the second quarter, that's gonna happen.
Okay, can I go now, Tapo?
No.
Am I good? McCole is going to bring in the effectiveness in the red zone. Just imagine Kadarius Toney and McCole Hardman out there in the red zone. Who are you going to cover? We're going to be
not McCole Hardman.
You got McCole, you got KT, you got Travis, you got Juju, and then
Jody,
probably
if he's playing,
he's not playing. Oh, and then you got Jerick McKinnon,
Blake Bell, Noah Gray.
That's
all these guys are not going to be on the field at the exact same time.
No. That's a tough lineup, man. You can't cover those guys. It's not possible.
And let me remind you, MVS got a red zone touchdown last week.
Yeah.
You don't want to be.
Mahomes can get it to anybody within 20 yards.
All right, let's call our shots then. Before we get to the score, your keys to the game and how those players will perform. Keys to the game for me is going to be linebacker play. It's going to be, can we cover and fill holes? Not so much flowing to plays, but it's got to be defensive line is opening up holes for the blitzes that are coming through, being able to cover the underneath passes and have trust that your DBs are going to have the over the top. And I think that's going to be the biggest factor in this game is going to be linebacker play. So cover everything down, and we should be good. Offensively, it's consistency. I think we've harped on that earlier on in the season. It's going to be the consistency, making sure the drives continue to go, and also, being clean consistently, making sure there's not penalties, that your emotions aren't running too high, and that everything is just continuing to fire. I'm gonna say Kadarius Toney has 2 touchdowns in this game as well. I'm giving George Karlaftis 2.5 sacks.
Ooh. Bold take right there, Cotton.
See how it plays out.
Yeah, my defensive keys to the game is actually going to rely on the secondary in this. I know I talked a lot about the defensive line, but the Bengals pass catchers are going to catch a lot of balls. We just have to limit them on when they catch them. We got to stop them on big downs, long downs, and whenever we're in the red zone. Granted, they're going to get their opportunities. They're going to make some plays. But whenever it's close, whenever we need a big stop, they need to step up right there. Everybody else will be ready to go doing their job, but secondary really needs to step up in this game. Offensively, something that we never do, run the damn ball. Just a little bit. Use it whenever it's effective. They're going to drop 8 and rush 3. Run the damn ball there, Andy. Offensive player to watch? Whew. Give me McCole. First game back, red zone target, end arounds, whatever you want to use him for, look for McCole. Defensively, I'm going to go ahead and call it Chris Jones, monster game, over 3.5 sacks. Taking it up, that's a hot take for you right there.
That would be 4 sacks, like minimum.
Yeah.
Over 3.5.
Yeah.
Chris Jones is getting 4 sacks tomorrow. Or damn it, Sunday.
Jeez.
All right, fellas. I have one key to the game because it applies to both the defense and the offense. And that is the Bengals can't know where it's coming from. On the defensive side of the ball, the blitz, break it up, overload, do whatever you got to do. We got to get to Joe Burrow, and if we do it quickly, and if it's like almost like dramatic, like drive killers, the free DB coming off the edge and just right in Joe Burrow's face, like we gotta mix it up. They can't know where it's coming from. On offense, I know Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have this unreal connection, and Travis is probably going to get like 10 catches or above that. But I know there are plays in this playbook that scheme certain players open, and I want to see Andy target some of the other players in our offense. Sky Moore, Juju, Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon. He's leaned on McKinnon near the end of the regular season, but I want to see more of that in the playoffs right now. Getting to the Super Bowl, winning this game this weekend is almost more important than winning the Super Bowl. Beating the Cincinnati Bengals to get to the Super Bowl this year should feel more important right now than winning the Super Bowl. We know we have a championship caliber team. If we completely shit the bed in the Super Bowl, oh well, we'll get there next year. We have to beat the Bengals right here, right now. Let's pull out all the stops. Let's get all the schemed plays for whoever's in our offense. Get them out there, get it going. I want to see multiple players with 2 and 3 catches tomorrow. Or damn it, Sunday.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
On the gas, herb stomping necks.
Thank you.
Bring the Lamar Hunt Trophy home.
Let's pick this one. Let's see. It was you two won, or no, excuse me. I won last week. I'm going to go first because I already have them picked.
How did you win? Did you have a perfect record last week?
I went 4-0 last week. Tybo, you went 2-2. Sean went 3-1.
Good for you.
Don't expect it too often. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. We are going to win this game 24-17.
So Tybo's up next, right?
Tybo is up next.
Oh, okay. Chiefs 33-13.
Wow. Blowout.
I'm going to pick the Bengals to lose this game 31-24.